This is Simone Netherlands with Respect for Horses here at the first ever wonderful international equine conference. And let's take a look around here. Just a break right now. There are so many wonderful, knowledgeable speakers here. It's just amazing how many organizations came together to make a stand for our American horses who are just suffering horrifically, both our domestic horses and our wild horses. We have, of course, it was organized by Equine Welfare Alliance and Animal Law Coalition and Dr. Anne Marini. And we also have R.T. Fitch here of Wild Horse Freedom Federation. We have Ginger Catherines here of the Cloud Foundation. We have the Humane Society here, several people from them. We have the ASPCA here. It's just too many to mention. Not to forget the Canadian Horse Defense Coalition, people coming all the way from Canada to just strategize, stick our heads together, inform the public with just all these wonderful, knowledgeable speakers. And this is Paula Bacon, by the way, and she used to be the mayor of Kaufman, where a horrific horse slaughter plant was. What do you say to all these pro-horse slaughter people that are trying to reopen horse slaughter plants here in America?
Well, I guess I would like to show them some documents and statistics and all kinds of things like that. But I can kind of assert with real certainty that a horse slaughter plant for any community is pretty much the opposite of economic development. I've dealt with many things as mayor, and I could say this: it is not an exaggeration to say that these communities would be better served with a sexually oriented business and a lead smelter plant in their districts than to have a horse slaughter plant.
Wow.
This conference is all about the truth, honesty, and scientific fact. It's a sad state of affairs that the American public is not aware of two major issues that involve the equine industry and also the spirit of America. One is, of course, horse slaughter, where the very horses that are not only companion animals, personal friends, but it was the horse that helped found this very country, are treated cruelly, inhumanely, and utilized, slaughtered for food for foreign countries. Horse meat is not eaten here, and these countries have no right to the flesh of the American horse.
So we're here with Vicki Tobin, Equine Welfare Alliance, who did just an awesome job organizing this first international equine conference. And why don't you tell us why you just put this all together?
Well, we've been thinking about having this conference for at least 2 years, and we finally were able to get the right organizers together, and it was basically because of all the propaganda being put out by the slaughter supporters.
You've got acreage. Instead of taking a horse in and processing them, if you leave them out there on their own, I don't know if any of you folks have ever seen a horse that laid down and died, but it's not a pretty sight.
Incorrect information, anecdotal comments with no basis to back any of the statements they've been making. So we thought it was time to gather a group of experts, credentialed speakers, different fields. The congressmen that were there and Senate representatives were just amazed.
Our American horses deserve better, and it's just wonderful to have so many great, knowledgeable people. And so thank you so much for organizing.
Well, thank you. You're running an event this week that ties right into the conference. your lobbying. So hopefully that will be a success as well.
Yeah, awesome, because that's what it's all about. Our legislators got to hear from us. So.
That's right.
So thank you so much. Hopefully this is the first of like many to come.
Yes,
right?
well, we're hoping next year it will be a celebration.
Simona, the Canadian Horse Defense Coalition has come to this fabulous conference to assure our American friends that Canada is totally against this vile industry. Quebec is against it as well. We just want to reassure everybody about that. And also just to let everybody know that we are having the bill to ban slaughter in Canada represented in Parliament very soon, as early as next week, from what I've been told.
That's fabulous. Fabulous. We're so happy about that, and you guys do just awesome work.
Well, thank you so much.
We've got to have more land available for wild horses to roam freely, particularly our Mustangs. We've got to stop the slaughter. Eventually, we ought to substantially reduce the consumption of horse meat in other countries. And we've got to get the government on our side. The way that we stopped horse slaughter, you understand this, I'm sure, is to prevent USDA from being able to inspect horse meat. Because if it's not inspected, you can't sell it. And so that did away with the slaughtering of horses in the United States.
It's our job as Americans to take a stand against our own government and force them to follow the law so that our future generations will have the advantage of watching these wonderful, magnificent creatures on our public lands for generations from now.
The Wild Free Roaming Horse and Burros Act was unanimously passed by Congress, and we must not allow its subversion anymore. We must restore the act and restore the herds to their rightful legal areas throughout the West.
It's so great that all these organizations are here, but even the BLM representatives were here. Hi, Dean. How are you doing? Thank you for coming.
Who's that?
That's Dean Bolstadt of the BLM. He's here in the Lion's Den. That's pretty amazing. What did they say?
Well, I think it's significant that they took this conference seriously and respected the gathering and the group that was organized here by Equine Welfare Alliance, and the fact that they would just come and listen. The new head of the Wild Horse program was here and spoke, and she is new to the position, so she didn't have a lot of policy information to convey.
So we're here with Madeline Pickens. Thank you so much for coming to this first International Equine Conference. And tell us, why did you come here and why do you think this is such a great opportunity?
You know, it feels good to come here. We're all on board. We all share the same views. You're amongst friends. But most of all, I think it gives us an opportunity to share information that we've all gathered. And I've been very fortunate. Our foundation has been gifted with some information and documents at the time that the Bureau of Land Management and the Wild Horse and Burro Act was formed. And everything that we all talk about, HMAs, numbers, horses, did this exist, what happened to the acreage, you know, nobody's really seen or known the true numbers. I have the documents now, and so we're able to share this with everybody. We can all get a good historical perspective of what's been going on. How can we put a solution together and work with the government and try to fix this problem?
In your expert, opinion, after documenting for 17 years, it must just be so heartbreaking and awful to see what happened to your herd.
Well, Cloud couldn't make it, so I decided to stand in for him as his biographer and documentarian. Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see in 2009 what they did to that herd and how many injuries there were, and how they compromised the herd genetically. So it's not just Cloud's herd, though. It's all the herds in the country. Almost all of them are in jeopardy because BLM is managing these animals to extinction. And they may deny it, but the proof is in the pudding. And their statistics of how many horses are on the range are absolutely ludicrous. So I'm hoping to come here and do a little bit of myth busting.
And the wonderful, herd dynamics and the wonderful communication between the horses is just amazing and wonderful, like how you were able to just document that.
Well, a wild horse that has its freedom and its family is generally a happy wild horse. They appear to be very peaceful in their beautiful environments, and it's heartbreaking to see it when the families are destroyed because, as you say, I've spent 16 years of Cloud's life. He's 16 years old now, and a year before he was born, trying to understand the sophisticated society in which they live. And when they're rounded up and the band is just totally shattered, it's terribly, terribly sad. And so we're fighting very hard to see that those helicopters are grounded forever.
Exactly, forever. Stop the roundups now. That's our motto.
We've jammed that a little together, haven't we?